Howard Storm was a man of strong convictions. He was an art professor. His world was tangible, material. He held no belief in God. In fact, he was a devout atheist. Religion to him was a crutch for the weak. He often expressed open disdain for people of faith. He believed that death was the final curtain, an absolute end, nothing more. This stark belief shaped his every thought, his every action. He lived his life firmly rooted in this godless understanding of existence. The date was June 1st, 1985. Howard Storm was in Paris, France. He was leading an art tour for his students. It should have been an enriching experience. Suddenly, an unimaginable pain struck him. It ripped through his abdomen. He collapsed in agony. The diagnosis was swift and severe. A perforated duodenum. His life hung precariously in the balance. He was rushed to a local hospital. The situation was critical. His vacation had turned into a fight for survival. At the hospital, the hours dragged on. He waited and waited. No surgeon was immediately available. The pain was relentless, a consuming fire. His condition deteriorated rapidly. He felt his strength slipping away. His body was failing him. Despair began to creep into his thoughts. His atheism offered no solace now. There was no prayer on his lips. No hope for divine intervention. He felt utterly alone, facing oblivion with his intense suffering. He was terrified. Then, something extraordinary happened. He felt a distinct sensation. He was floating. He looked down. He saw his own body lying on the hospital bed. His wife, Flora, was there, her face etched with fear and grief. This was no dream. This was not a hallucination. It felt more real, more vivid than any waking moment. He was separate from his physical form. A profound sense of detachment came over him. He was an observer. His earthly life seemed to have concluded. He was now in an unknown space. As Howard Storm hovered outside his body, he heard voices. They were indistinct at first. They seemed to be calling to him. They urged him to come with them. They promised to take him to a doctor. He was still confused. The pain from his illness persisted, even outside his body. He felt a strange pull towards these unseen speakers. He decided to follow them. They led him away from his hospital room. He moved down a corridor that grew progressively darker. An unsettling feeling began to grow within him. The environment around him started to change. It became a place of deep gloom. A pervasive sense of despair filled the air. The beings who had called to him became clearer. They were not the helpful guides he had initially thought. Their forms were shadowy, indistinct, yet menacing. Their intentions felt malicious. He realized with dawning horror that he was not safe. He was being led into a terrible place. This was not a pathway to healing. It was something far more sinister. His initial confusion turned to fear. The true nature of these entities soon revealed itself. They began to torment him. They mocked his atheism, his arrogance. They pushed him, struck him, bit him. The pain was intense, both physical and emotional. They delighted in his suffering, his fear. He tried to fight back, but he was powerless against them. His intellectual pride, his former certainties meant nothing here. He was completely at their mercy. He experienced an overwhelming sense of hopelessness, a profound terror he had never imagined possible. This realm was devoid of any light, any warmth. It was a place of utter desolation. He could hear the sounds of anguish around him. Others like him were trapped in this nightmare. The beings here thrived on negativity. They fed on cruelty and despair. Howard Storm, the man who had denied the existence of any spiritual world, was now experiencing a hell he had vehemently argued could not exist. His entire worldview was being brutally dismantled. He was lost in an abyss of suffering. In the depths of his torment and despair, a flicker of memory arose. It was a faint echo from his distant childhood. He remembered attending Sunday school. A simple song came to mind, "Jesus loves me, this I know." He had long dismissed such childish notions. He had considered faith a weakness. But now, in this place of utter darkness, what other hope was there? He had nothing left. His strength was gone. His intellect was useless. He decided to try, to call out. With immense effort, he formed the name. "Jesus," he whispered. The sound was barely audible. He tried again, louder this time. "Jesus, save me!" It was a cry from the very core of his being, a desperate plea from a man broken and terrified. All his academic arrogance, his staunch atheism had vanished. In that moment of ultimate need, he reached out to a power he had always denied. He called upon a name he had once ridiculed. It was his only remaining lifeline in an ocean of despair. Instantly, a light appeared. It was a brilliant, pure light. It sliced through the oppressive darkness of that horrific realm. The tormenting figures around him shrieked. They recoiled in terror from this radiance. They could not bear its presence. They scattered and fled into the shadows. The light was intensely powerful, yet it was also gentle. It was filled with an indescribable warmth, an overwhelming love. From the heart of this magnificent light, a figure emerged. Howard Storm recognized him as Jesus. He radiated pure, unconditional compassion. Jesus communicated with him, not through spoken words but directly, mind to mind. Storm was shown his entire life. He saw it pass before him like a film. He saw his actions, his thoughts, his relationships. He saw the times he had been selfish, angry, and unkind. He saw the pain he had inflicted upon others. There was no condemnation from Jesus, only a profound sense of understanding and sorrow. Storm felt an immense wave of remorse for his past. He was then told he had more to learn, and that he could choose to return to his earthly life. Howard Storm made the choice to return. He found himself back in his hospital bed. The experience he had just endured was etched into his very soul. It was not a dream. It was not a product of his dying brain. It was profoundly, undeniably real. The man who had lain there, a staunch atheist, was gone. In his place was someone who had been touched by something sacred, something divine. His life was irrevocably altered. He knew, with absolute certainty, that his path forward would be entirely different. His old self felt like a distant memory. He embarked on a new journey. He dedicated his life to God. The former art professor immersed himself in the study of theology. He eventually became an ordained pastor in the United Church of Christ. His primary mission became sharing his incredible story. He wanted everyone to know what he had witnessed. He wrote a book, My Descent into Death, detailing his near-death experience. He spoke to congregations, to groups, to anyone who would listen. He preached a message of God's immense love, forgiveness, and the reality of life after death. Of course, there are those who remain skeptical. Scientists and doctors offer alternative explanations for near-death experiences. They suggest hallucinations due to the trauma of dying. Perhaps it was a lack of oxygen to the brain, or the effects of powerful medications administered in the hospital. Howard Storm was aware of these perspectives. He considered them, yet his personal conviction remained absolute, unshaken. For him, the vividness, the coherence, and the profound emotional impact of his experience transcended any purely physical explanation. He believed he had truly seen beyond the veil. Howard Storm's story continues to resonate with many people around the world. It challenges the beliefs of some. It offers profound comfort and hope to others. His central message is one of love, compassion, and the possibility of spiritual transformation. He insists that God is real, that God is loving, and that our lives on earth have a deep spiritual purpose. His dramatic journey from the abyss of atheism to a life of fervent faith stands as a powerful testament. It speaks to the enduring human search for meaning and the potential for light to emerge even from the deepest darkness.